The killer likely fled through the rear door of the house. At that old fountain in the garden, now little more than a basin of stagnant water, one can still make out the faint impressions of bloodied hands. It seems almost certain the killer stopped here, in a hurried attempt to wash away some of the blood spattered across his body. Here's the missing kitchen knife, undoubtedly the murder weapon. This ought to do the trick for that boarded-up room upstairs, just by Walter Brandon's room. It's clear that the man who killed Elodie discarded his blood-stained clothing during his escape. Despite his injuries, the killer rid himself of anything that might incriminate him before fleeing the scene. The boots, the coat, even the knife. It's a chilling thought, but those very items remind me of the figure seen lurking near the manor, the same figure Walter Brandon spoke of with such dread, and perhaps the very one who was said to have harassed the maids. That mysterious presence was, in all likelihood, the murderer of Elodie Fordside. Unlabeled liquor bottles, the damp and the passing years have likely worn away whatever once marked them, there's a distinct scent of wormwood, the plant at the heart of absinthe. Thujone, its active compound, could provoke hallucinations, visions said to come straight from the goddess Artemis herself. A sharpening wheel. Lord Fordside likely crafted his own chisels. Lord Fordside was a gifted artist, no doubt, but his work betrayed a dark and tormented soul. This unfinished fallen angel stirs in me a curious sense of unease, almost repulsion. The door is locked. I'll need to find the key. Him again. Who the bloody hell are you? This room looks like it belongs to a woman. Lady Margaret, perhaps? The bed is made. The Countess hadn't yet gone to bed on the night of the murder. I should finish gathering all the clues from the Countess's room before exploring other parts of the house. It's a damn fine bottle of wine. No one in their right mind would open a vintage like this and leave it abandoned, unless something rather urgent interrupted the evening. Seems Lady Margaret was reading in the chair that evening. The book's still open, right where she left it.
This is a nightmare. I am deeply concerned for Elodie. The housekeeper has long been warning me about Walter. I have made some inquiries, and nothing is as it seems. Elodie remains blissfully happy with him in the house. I am at my wit's end. Since her return from the sanatorium, she has been positively radiant, a true beacon of light. They go out together and seem to have a splendid time. He appears very close to her. This is in stark contrast to the picture painted by the housekeeper, which is a complete contradiction. Last night I heard him scream. He seemed to be in the throes of a panic attack. I approached on tiptoe to the guest quarters, and then suddenly I was struck with terror. An insane, maniacal laughter echoed through the night. It did not sound like him. The following morning, Walter and Elodie went out to sail on the pond. Everything appeared normal, and he was the most charming he has ever been.
Something made of glass has shattered here.
Oh my God, what is that noise? It's coming from Elodie's room.
The fireplace tools, all knocked over on the floor, and unless my eyes deceive me, the poker appears to be missing.
Oh my God, Elodie!
Lady Margaret, quite agitated, grabbed the fireplace poker and rushed toward Elodie's room. A key, likely the one to Elodie's room. Lady Margaret lied to me. She hadn't taken any sleeping draught that night. She could have heard the attack and rushed to see what was happening. Why did she hide this from me? The more I investigate, the more convoluted it all seems. I should head to Elodie's room to search for answers. There was a struggle here, clear as day. Not a clean break-in. The killer wasn't subtle. Photograph of Elodie Fordside and Walter Brandon. If my memory serves me right, looks like it was taken at Westland Asylum. A rag doll, tossed on the floor. I'd wager it used to sit neatly on the bed. Either it was knocked over in the scuffle, or perhaps Elodie dropped it herself in the panic. A pool of dried blood. There's no doubt now. This was the scene of the crime. Judging by the sheer brutality of the crime, we can almost certainly conclude the killer was a man of considerable build. The blood-stained coat, found alongside the greenhouse knife, suggests that the mysterious figure seen loitering nearby may, in fact, be the very same individual who committed the murder. They say the killer always returns to the scene of the crime. But 20 years have passed. Why now? Let's attempt to reconstruct the events, just as they might have unfolded that night, and try to understand precisely what happened. A teacup on the bedside table. Elodie must have lain down that night, perhaps already drifting to sleep. The door's lock, completely broken, indicates someone forced their way into the room, likely startling Elodie awake. Elodie tried to flee, but the killer cornered her near the vanity. She lost her balance and fell, breaking the dresser and chair. The killer dragged her to the bed against her will. In the struggle, one of the vases fell from the mantelpiece. On the bed, the killer stabbed her mercilessly, again and again, staining the sheets with blood. That's when Lady Margaret arrived, striking the killer with the fireplace poker. knocking him away from Elodie. Wounded, the killer fled the scene, but it was already too late. Elodie was already dead. The old Bloomsbury mansion. It choked my thoughts. It had that kind of sadness that seeps into your bones like old damp, and that sudden abandonment, so clear before my eyes, looked like a sinister time capsule. One thing was certain. My next move was to dig up answers about the man with the knife, and about Walter Brandon, the sailor from Westland Asylum, an old, forgotten sanatorium that, 20 years ago, was the scene of a meeting between Elodie Fordside and that Brandon fellow. It was an ungodly hour when my battered car crept along the winding, shadowed road leading to Westland Asylum. But what I found upon arrival was disquieting. The building, forsaken for more than a decade, remained illuminated. Was it some ancient emergency system defying the passage of time? Or was someone awaiting my arrival? So, there's an alternative entrance, hidden somewhere in the wall of the asylum. The front door, sealed shut. As expected. Nothing's ever straightforward, is it? I'll have to find another way in. pitch black in here. Looks like I've stumbled into what could be the kitchen. Impossible. Locked as well. Damn it. The lantern. It's broken. I'll have to manage without it for now. Some of the rooms are completely trashed. I didn't expect the asylum to be in such a state of decay. A bloody handprint. Someone injured must have leaned against this wall. May 1922. This letter was written half a year before Elodie's murder. It's possible she was still a patient here at the time. The nurses were genuinely concerned about the aggression of patient B03. Westland Asylum was a top place in its good old days. The asylum was shut down 10 years ago. Judging by the state it's in, they probably had no choice but to close it due to the building's condition. Some basic rules, but quite necessary, I must say. This file cabinet is now empty. It probably held all the records of the inpatients. I need to find Dr. Sheridan's office.
We must formalize the admission of Miss Elodie Fortside. I have her file here.
That girl? What do you think of her?
I don't quite know. She seems a good girl. I do hope she recovers soon.
I know what Dr. Mulder thinks of her.
Oh, don't be wicked.
You cannot tell me you haven't noticed. Have you seen the way he looks at her?
Shh, hush now. Someone's coming.
It seems the nurses were gossiping about a certain Dr. Mulder, who appeared to be especially taken with Elodie. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Mr. Morley, is that you?
Lady Margaret?
Mr. Morley, I'm so relieved to hear your voice. I've been trying to reach your office, but I couldn't get through to anyone.
It's awfully late at night, Lady Margaret. How on earth did you know I was at Westland Asylum?
Well, I was already in bed, truth be told. But there was something on my mind. A vital detail I'd forgotten to mention. I called your office, searched for you at the mansion, and when I couldn't find you there, I assumed you might be investigating at the asylum.
I see. Very resourceful of you. Now tell me, what is this detail of such importance?
Oh, yes, of course. I almost forgot. You see, the truth is, I'm afraid that you're not alone.
What the devil does that mean? Hello? Lady Margaret?
The girl? How is the girl?
You mean Miss Elodie Fortside? Don't worry, that bloke didn't lay a finger on her. But you took quite a knock. This is going to smart.
It's locked. Without the key, I won't be able to access the upper floors. Is someone there? Damn it. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Report. Patient B08, Miss Beatrice Mara, female, 28, Reclassified after initial misidentification, Miss Myron presents with severe self-destructive behaviors. She engages in autosarcophagy, self-cannibalism that has markedly compromised her physical integrity, and compulsively ingests her own hair. These actions, driven by deep psychological torment and overwhelming despair, leave her in a perilously fragile state. As a precaution, she is secured in a straitjacket and confined to an environment entirely devoid of any utensils or objects that might facilitate further self-harm. Her treatment protocol centers on the administration of potent sedatives to alleviate anxiety and curb these impulses, with ongoing monitoring. Internal report. Patient B03, identity unknown. Male, early 30s. Admitted after being the cause of a series of violent incidents. The patient exhibits a disturbing duality. Episodes of unprovoked, nearly superhuman aggression, displaying raw, overwhelming physical force, and subsequent plunges into an eerie, profound apathy. His faculties appear suspended during these lulls, leaving him in a state of unnerving inertia. Due to the unpredictability of his violent outbursts, he remains confined within a reinforced cell. Treatment involves high doses of sedatives, potassium bromide or morphine, and a regimented course of electroconvulsive therapy, alongside stringent restraints, such as an anti-biting mask and, if required, an iron muzzle. Ongoing monitoring is maintained. Internal report. Patient B02. Mr. Norbert Clark, 45, from Sanderson, is a persistent pyromaniac whose actions have repeatedly endangered both property and life. Despite his seemingly frail build, he harbors an alarming compulsion for fire setting, a tendency exacerbated by intermittent episodes of disorganized thought and incoherent speech under duress. His unsettling, fixed gaze suggests the planning of covert schemes, amplifying his threat. To mitigate risk, he is isolated in a secure cell, thoroughly cleared of flammable materials. His management includes a regimented program of sedatives and antipsychotic medications to stabilize his manic and schizoid symptoms, with vigilant oversight maintained.
This room gives me the shivers. I need to hide. Quickly! I can't hear it. Could it be gone? A cigarette case, with a bit of tobacco still inside. Clean water, an apple, a bit of bread, the food still fresh. A maintenance uniform, oddly well prepared. Not a speck of dust on it. Looks like someone's been coming through here. Perhaps this is what Lady Margaret meant in her call. Or was she trying to warn me about something else? I'd rather not go through there. Looks ready to cave in at any moment. it is. Dr. Sheridan's office. This is where I'll find Elodie and Walter's records. Elodie's record. Patient at the sanatorium. Wait. No, it can't be. There he is, in the photo. Dr. Sheridan in the center, and right next to him, it's him. The man with the knife. That wild mane, that unkempt beard, it's unmistakable. But what's he doing here? And he's holding a book. I need to get to the library. Nothing of interest here. Strange. Elodie's record was easy to find, but there's no sign of anything related to Walter Brandon. Something doesn't add up. What am I missing? What was that noise? Sounds like something just came crashing down.
Patient recording, Elodie Fordside, February 3rd, 1922. Daily record number 23. Let us begin. How are you feeling today, Miss Fordside?
I feel well.
Elodie, we have discussed this before. If you do not tell me how you truly feel, we will make no progress.
I feel a little sad, perhaps. I am alone here. I miss my mother and having company. So much time with nothing to do makes me think of things I do not wish to think of.
I see. Listen, Elodie. I believe you are looking at this the wrong way. If, instead of dwelling on what you call dark thoughts, you were to focus on possibilities, your outlook would change entirely. A young, beautiful woman such as yourself should look to the future with excitement. Think of all the adventures that lie ahead. Your family, your career as a painter. Perhaps even finding a man of good standing. One who could protect you from your demons.
A man?
Tell me, Elodie, is there no man who stirs your heart?
What in God's name do you think you're doing?
Miss Fordside, you may go. We shall continue later.
Very well.
Have you lost your mind? Where is your professionalism?
Do not presume to judge my methods with your oh-so-righteous reading therapy.
Methods? The entire hospital is whispering about you. She is a patient, Dr. Mulder, and she is mentally unwell.
Listen, Ferdinand. Stay out of my affairs, and I shall stay out of yours. Or have you forgotten which one of us is the director of this institution?
Do as you please. But if I ever witness such a scene again, I will not remain silent.
Damn fool.
The Adventures of Walter Brandon, the intrepid captain of the Stella Maris, braving the treacherous South Seas. What in the devil does this mean? Stella Maris. That was the name of the ship captained by Walter Brandon.
This must be the key to the attic. Let's...
An alarm clock. Most likely, they used it to slip back to the second floor before anyone noticed they were gone. Every detail planned to perfection by Elodie. Their secret hideaway. Like two reckless teenagers, they started a romance, hidden from the prying eyes of doctors and nurses. For a while, they managed to keep their affair in the shadows, far from the eyes of doctors and nurses. Hair on the chair, strands on the floor. This is where the transformation took place. A pair of scissors and a comb. Elodie put in real effort to make him fit the mold of her ideal hero. She remade patient 1365 in the image of her most secret longings. Powerful drugs for depression. Anxiolytics. The girl improved, but it seems the doctors were baffled by her mind. Looks like Elodie found herself a little hideaway to keep practicing her dark craft. Elodie found painting, and with it, a way to spill the shadows that crawled through her mind. The room has been decorated to resemble some sort of island in the South Seas. Of course, I should have guessed. She pulled him into her world. Elodie created Walter Brandon. A draft letter, scratched out and full of corrections. She goaded him into leaving the sanatorium. That man was desperately ill. But Elodie's selfishness outweighed what little sense she had. She pushed him too far. This letter. At the very least, it's highly inappropriate.
Patient number 1365 returns after an absence of 4 months. He's in a state of utter disorientation, perspiration pouring off him, and good heavens, there's a severe wound to the skull. His clothes and hands are covered in blood, and it doesn't appear to be his own. He cannot recall his name, nor anything that's happened during these past months. Seems to have found his way back here more by some strange instinct than by memory itself. The personality once known as Walter has vanished entirely, as has the entity we refer to as the Shadow, though given his nature, I cannot say with certainty it isn't still lurking beneath the surface. We have treated cases of dissociative identity before, but never one such as this. His appearance, his voice, even his build and weight change quite drastically. Now he looks frail, gaunt, empty, as though there's nothing inside, as though he were but an empty shell, waiting to be occupied. His condition calls for far stricter supervision. This institution is no longer equipped to care for him. I am ordering his immediate transfer to St. Dymphna Hospital. Dr. Former, a specialist in matters such as this, will take him under his care. As I near the end of my tenure as director, I must see this case brought to a decisive close. The blood upon his hands, the emptiness in his eyes, all point to an act of the gravest kind. One his mind appears to have erased entirely. God help us, if the Shadow should ever wake again.
So it seems Walter came back to the sanatorium of his own accord, though he was utterly incapable of recalling what he'd done. They moved him to St. Dymphna's Hospital. Could he still be there after 20 years? What became of him? I'll have to follow this lead. That man returned to the new sanatorium, remembering practically nothing. Maybe it was the wound Lady Margaret left him. Or maybe his mind shattered and never came back after what happened that night. As for me, I was hired to find the one who killed Elodie Fordside, and my intuition told me they were still there, in the depths of St. Dymphna. I sensed that the end of the road was waiting for me in that place. Can't very well saunter in through the front door as if nothing's amiss. I'll need to find another way in. It's locked. It's locked. The night shift nurses are behind this door. I need to find another way into the hallway to the rooms. John Morley and the case of the red shoes. What the devil does this mean? Lady Margaret.
That fateful night, I was startled by the noise. Those wretched cries of agony from dear Elodie. I rushed to her chambers, and there you stood, stained with the blood of the one soul I cherished above all others in this world. The housekeeper had warned me, but I turned a deaf ear. Elodie was finally happy, even amidst your incessant bouts of volatility. Yet, with the passage of time, your demeanour darkened. More and more frequently, that sinister presence lurking within you began to surface, each appearance more violent than the last. Elodie no longer gazed upon you with the starry-eyed affection of a smitten young woman. The atmosphere in this house grew suffocating, fraught with an unbearable tension. That very afternoon I spoke with her. She had resolved to end your engagement. You seemed, or so I dared hope, to have accepted it with grace. But that night, that very night, you ended her life in the most savage manner imaginable. I threw myself upon Elodie, desperate to save her. But alas, it was far too late. Months later, I learned you had returned voluntarily to the sanatorium. I sought answers and immersed myself in understanding the afflictions that plagued you. Dissociative identity disorder, they called it. A condition in which one might host multiple identities, each vying for dominion over the body. But the man confined in that bleak institution was not the shadow, not the fiend who had stolen my daughter. No, he was but the shell, the hapless vessel. And I yearned to find the true culprit, not the facade, the murderer himself. Thus I devised my plan. I came to visit you, and just as Elodie had done, I crafted a new role for you, a new identity to inhabit. I brought books, personal artifacts, penned letters as Penny. I leased an office and prepared every detail meticulously, down to the smallest thread, for your return as John Morley. Everything had to be flawless. And why, you may ask? To make you remember, to awaken the shadow, to summon forth the murderer from the abyss of your fractured mind. John Morley is a good man. Walter Brandon was a spirited young sailor, brimming with love for Elodie. But the shadow was a merciless, unrepentant killer. I wanted to destroy the murderer who had stolen my daughter. But I could never bring myself to harm an innocent man. My obsession, my singular purpose, was to awaken the shadow.